Pete Otway.
BBC Radio Lancashire.
Or Radio Lancashire, as I was about to say. Right, now, a Lancashire man is on a mission to break a world record with a speedboat that he's built in his garage. You heard that one right. David Aldred from Thornton has teamed up with students from Blackpool and Fylde College. The University of Central Lancashire is also helping with the build. His aim is to break the world speedboating record, which currently stands, wait for it, at 317 miles per hour. David joins me now. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Pete, and thank you very much for having us on.
Thank you very much for joining us this morning. What a thing to try and do. 317 miles an hour, a terrifying speed. First of all, what is making you want to do? I was trying to ask that in a polite way, but what could possibly make you want to do this, David?
I first got involved with Bluebird in a very kind of odd way, really. Donald Campbell's Bluebird, when he was killed back in 1967, believe it or not, the police didn't have any divers, and they were after civilian assistance to go look for Donald Campbell when he crashed on Coniston in the Lake District. And my dad's friends were hobby divers, and they went up. So as a young kid of about 5-year-old, I remember being stood at the side of the lake as these divers were looking for Donald, and I was kind of captivated by the story of Donald and his achievements, and his father Malcolm, and Donald always trying to impress his father. And then when I was 18, I did an engineering qualification and dissertation on Bluebird, and the designers kindly got in touch with me and helped me and sent me a load of stuff. And then Bluebird was raised in 2001, and they were going to restore it, and I got involved with the restoration. And from that, I got involved with building a replica one at Lytham, and I got them jet engines for that. And we overhauled the jet engines with gas turbine engineers. And off the back of that, I became very good friends with the son of the record holder. The record holder is Ken Warby over in Australia. And Dave Warby, his son, was going to have a go at his father's record. And Dave, through our friendship, said, well, if I mentor you through building a similar boat, we could bounce this record between us. And though the record was 317 miles an hour, we knew Ken had run at about 400.
Wow.
Officially. So I knew the boat was kind of, that design was capable of doing these incredible speeds.
This sounds like, with that whole backstory, David, it almost sounds like the start of like a Hollywood movie where you were there, at 5 years old when your dad was there trying to, find Bluebird and stuff. And it's sort of been all the way through your life in some way or another.
It has really. So it isn't something I've just kind of hold my beer and watch this, I was, and equally, I know you go, well, it's some guy in the garage and what have you, but we've got some terrific support. I mean, the design engineer for our boat is ex-McLaren, and he worked on the Bloodhound land speed record car. Very clever guy, and that theme follows because you've got to give it the respect it deserves. The record and the sport, if you want to call it a sport, is considered the most dangerous in the world, and that I mean, the fatality rate is 85%.
Wow!
So,
you hear that though, David? You hear that fatality rate of 85%, and does that not make you want to not do it?
Well, certainly. I mean, when we worked on Bluebird and you see the wreckage and you see the damage, it's all right watching the grainy footage that they always seem to show of Campbell crashing, but when you've got it in your hands and you're looking at the damage, water is such an explosive thing, You crash a car and it skids along the ground and it rolls and all the rest of it, but water will get into a void and blow it open, and it was like a bomb had gone off, really, in Bluebird's cockpit. But the thing is with the right approach, is to do it safely, really. So.
And you think that's possible? You do think that things have got safer?
Well, certainly, there's no getting away from the fact you're getting in something with no suspension that is running on variable water conditions. There can be anything in the lake, that you might run across. So, yes, there's constant danger to it. However, with the modern composites that are available to us now, driver safety has certainly got incredibly better. They race drag boats in America, and the top speed of those is knocking on the door of about 280 miles an hour over a very short sprint of 1,000 yards. And they have a capsule that breaks away from the boat, and the driver stays inside. So the rest of the boat kind of destroys itself in the accident, and you're left with this floating pod on the surface with the driver inside. And those have kept the driver alive at those incredible speeds. And that is really how we are going to try and keep the driver alive in this particular case. We did actually approach Martin Baker, who do ejector seats. But the thing was, whilst they make an ejector seat which goes off from ground level, they said the problem, David, is that you cannot guarantee at what angle the ejector seat would fire, and if it was pointed towards the shoreline or people out on the lake, the sport crew and what have you, we couldn't stand it as a marketing exercise. So you're left with how you're going to try and keep the guy alive, really.
So you've teamed up with students from Blackpool and Fylde College, and the University of Central Lancashire also helping with the build. Where are you up to with the build then? How far off are you from potentially getting your boat on the water?
Well, the hull is pretty much complete, and uniquely, in our particular case, it's powered by 2 jet engines, not just one. So the engines are installed, and we're just on with the cockpit as we speak, kind of thing, really. So we're getting there. Incidental to all of this, believe it or not, we've been approached by a guy called Mike Newman, and Mike Newman is blind, and he does speed records, and Mike wants to get in the boat and drive. The boat's called Longbow, and Mike wants to drive it to a blind person record, and if we can support him in that, then yeah, we will do. Mike already has a record of 105 mile an hour in an offshore powerboat where he got a guy sat beside him, but Longbow is a single-seater twin-jet engine boat, and Mike wants to try and break his 105 mile an hour record, and the university think that they've got the technology that can allow Mike to drive the boat safely, which is obviously paramount. But if we can make that happen, then yeah, we're all for it.
And what about you then, David? Do you have, so would it be Coniston that you went for if you tried to break this record yourself?
Then we would certainly like to run on Coniston. Believe it or not, Coniston is getting a little bit short for over 300 mile an hour.
I imagine that goes quite quickly, the length of Coniston.
It does, yeah. You run there and back. And they say the average speed, you've got to run there and back within the hour, and you run through a kilometre timing trap, but you've got the run up distance and the run out distance. And the thing with the jet hydroplanes is that there's no propeller in the water, it's pure thrust, and they don't slow down. That's the thing, you've got to just ease off very slowly on the throttles and let for it to cut, because it's skimming across the top of the water.
Well, I mean, I'd love you to keep in touch with us, David, because we definitely want to hear more about this, especially, as we get closer to you potentially getting on the water, and any world records which you might go aim to break. Really great speaking to you this morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
David Aldred from Thornton. I mean, an 85% fatality rate is a terrifying thing. Crazy. Right. BBC Radio Lancashire. Good morning. Just gone 8 o'clock on Thursday morning. It's the 12th of June. Time to get the latest news headlines now with Alex Worsick.